There we go. Sorry about that, folks. A couple minutes late there, but YouTube has been doing some really strange stuff here of late, and I don't know what the hell's going on. But good morning. Welcome back to another Jedi Academy. Glad to have you guys here on a Saturday morning. Joining us as we're here to talk shop about Star Wars Galaxy Heroes. And for everybody new, or even for those that are not new, welcome. And this is a Q&A show. And the way it works is we're here to talk about Star Wars Galaxy Heroes and answer your questions about it. And the way it works is you have questions. Hopefully we have the answers that you need. And all you need to do is submit your questions to this wonderful panel who will introduce. And make sure you put question for your statement. Put that in chat. Dr. Finn Medicine Woman will go ahead and get that scooped up, and we will get to your questions. We try to get through, if not all the questions, but sometimes we can't. But hey, it behooves you to get your questions in sooner rather than later, and that way you can make sure your question gets answered. So, with that being said, let's introduce everybody here and say good morning to everybody. We've got, of course, Dr. Finn Medicine Woman, the troll extraordinaire here.
Why are we de-hooving people?
I'm not in the mood for this shit. We also have from Warrior Presents, Mr. Warrior.
He said it behooves you. I love that word. It totally shows his age. I love it. Well, but we can dehoove people too. That would be fun.
I just like to, use vocabulary. I use all kinds of words. I don't label myself just on.
He's a big boy. Look what he can do.
That's right. I'm educated. Finn is retarded.
I am not in favor of de-hooving people.
No one said to. Yeah,
I know, but then Warrior said he said de-hooving people wouldn't be bad either.
Well, that would be fun. Let's find people with hooves.
Why don't we just start with Finn?
Yes. I know he's got hooves. I know it.
Yeah.
No comment.
He's one of those like scimitar people.
Mm-hmm.
Hooray!
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I know it. He runs with like his knees backwards. I know it. If he like stood up and like ran out of the room, his like knees would buckle backwards.
There's a reason you haven't seen me below the waist.
You heard it here first, folks. Him naked.
Science confirmed Finn is half Minotaur. Oh my god. But go get your head and get your questions in, folks. So we're going to start scooping those up and starting to do what we do here in the Jedi Academy, and that's answer your questions. Hope everyone's had a great week. Hope everyone's enjoying their weekend. And with that, let's just sit around and talk about what's been going on in the game while everybody gets their questions submitted and people are getting in, bringing in their coffee and their croissants or donuts, whatever it may be. Warrior, what's been going on with you this week in the game? Well, you don't.
Well, I'm excited for the community. This week, the community got a couple new levels for the assault battles, at least for 2 of the assault battles, and that's good because assault battles are kind of old. They're kind of stale. They take a long time to play, and you don't get a whole lot of goodies from them, so they're kind of lame. And so it's like a lot of time investment when they come around. They're like 10 to 15 minutes to play. You put them on auto battle unless it's like the mythic version and you might still have to play it out, which I did even with my main account on that last level on mythic. But you had to still play it in. It's like, 15, 20 minutes of like playing. And then at the end you get like, mediocre, like, okay, a couple of them, they give you like a couple of like, it was like what you did for a Klondike bar, it's like what you do for a couple of, omegas, because a couple of them that's what they give you is like a couple omegas. You're like, really? But you do it anyway, right? Because you're like, well, it's content. So to see them do a couple new levels and the content they gave at these ends is actually what we would consider relevant rewards. So that's exciting. I was hoping that these new assault battle tiers would be released a couple months ago, and then also more of them, like for all of the assault battles. But it's a start, so yay for that. Excited to see that them at least go back and touch 2 of the assault battles, and it's 2 of the assault battles that a lot of people had like good teams for, like the droids and it's the Sith, right? So, from what I was reading, so that's good because those are teams that are kind of well established for a lot of people. So, it's not something that people are going to be like, oh man, I don't have the capability of participating. I think that that's great. So there's that, right? And then what else? There was one other thing. Oh, the first tier and the first 3 prerequisites of the 10 prerequisites were released. So now you know that you've got Relic 5 of 2 characters and Relic 7.
Mm-hmm.
So you know that 2 obscure characters that you don't care about have to be Relic 5, and 1 character you sort of care about that you maybe Relic would actually have to be Relic 7. That would frustrate me a little because Relic 7 is harsh.
It's not easy.
Characters. No, because Relic 5, we'll be honest, Relic 5 is totally doable for any character if you like dedicate time and stuff. But Relic 6 and 7 is terrible. Relic 6 and 7 for any character is honestly, that's where it's like you either have to put all of your rewards into, and it ruins all of your rewards, or you have to spend money. Basically, you're gonna put all your rewards for like 3 to 6 months into it, or you're gonna spend money. So that stinks. So for a lot of people, that's a huge paywall to tell them Relic 7, because Relic 5, like I said, Relic 5 is like, it's not, and trust me, it's not as big a paywall as people think. On my Scissorman account, I Relic 5'd a lot of stuff, and it was like, wow, I can't believe I can do this. So that was pretty amazing. So the Relic 7's a punch in the gut for a lot of people. But I, for First Order, I think that's okay because the tank's worthwhile. He's, First Order Stormtrooper is great. First Order Officer is great. So these are like staples on that team. So that's okay. And then, Unmasked is good. So that team was like, all right. And then for the Resistance, Rey's amazing. But then Resistance Trooper or Resistance, was it Resistance Trooper?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the OG one, like obscure, right? It's like, what? Dang it. Like a lot of people haven't even like Gear 12 to that character because there hasn't been any relevant use for that character really, except for maybe raids in forever. So unless you were just like Kraken guy, but now knowing you have to go Relic 5, that's like, blah. And then what was the other character that they released for Relic 5 on that team?
OG Finn.
Oh, that's right, OG Finn. And then OG Finn, exactly. So for someone like, me, that used to play that was Kraken, it was like no big deal. But for everybody else, it's like, ugh, there's a new Finn. Why would we do the old Finn? So that's kind of silliness. But there's going to be a lot of silliness, 13 sillinesses. So get ready. But
yeah, that's the thing I've been trying to tell people. Get your thoughts on this, Warrior. Me and Finn both. It's like, all right, and this is one thing me and Finn like. They're putting it out early so you can get a sense of what you're going to need. And that's different than anything they've ever done before for a character.
And you're using that word early loosely because it's already February 1st today, and the movie came out like 3 months ago.
Well, I mean, not for the character itself, but I mean for the actual, the concept of, before we were always in the dark a little bit about what was about to come out. So, we can get into another discussion about when they should release it.
I know they're going to make these guys like super OP, and that's cool. And they're going to be like plug and play, and they're going to be so powerful they can't be on the same team. And like I heard the hype, which is cool. Like that's awesome. And they're going to be so amazing that the battle goes on. They get stronger and stronger. And so like I said, the whole thing about them is cool, but they're not even going to be like attainable for like another almost 2 months from now. And then by then they're going to be attainable, but then they're going to be characters that have to be Relic 7 basically to be, usable as well. And
it was really strange in their post, and this is kind of after we read it and saw the information, because it said not all the characters are going to need relics. That tells me immediately, I'm like, well, okay, so we've got 4 of these. We've got the first of 4 prerequisites that we have to get ready. First one is 4 characters to Relic 5 and 2 to 7. Okay, that's round 1. What's going to be round 2, 3, and 4? And I guarantee you the new characters are going to be needed, and I don't know what gear level they're going to be at. So that's going to be one of those prerequisites. So what we've been telling people is just wait, just hoard. We don't know what all this is going to entail with all these characters and stuff. Because we saw some people say, should I just relic them immediately? I'm like, no! Just save your stuff. Because you don't know what else is the... we haven't had the other shoe drop. You know?
The unknown, which will be my curiosity, is are they going to make everybody do the prerequisites, and then once you have the prerequisites, you can go into the event, and then the event's going to be relatively easy?
I don't know.
And it'll just be a really fun, easy event, but it'll be visually spectacular but easy? Or is it going to be one of those events where you have to do the prerequisites, and then you go into the event, and then it's like a Malik-style event where it's still a nightmare to play? That's the question that we don't know, right?
Right.
So it's a prerequisited one where they're like just flat out like bottom line, like this is a new event where they say, listen, Linda, this is the list, this is what you have to do, whether you like it or not, this is your list, this is your honeydew, do it, and then you can play. And then the event is slightly easier than like a Malik style event, but it's visually spectacular and really fun. I think people are actually going to like those style events because even though they're spoon-fed a laundry list and it takes a little longer to get through the laundry list, the event will be a little more pleasing to do once they get there. I think there'll be a new wave of events that is enjoyable. I think for the community, even if it is harder to attain on the front side, it'll be easier on the back side, or more enjoyable on the back side. But I guess it remains to be seen how the event goes, because if it ends up being like a light side Malik hardness on the backside, people are going to hate this more than any other event in the history of the game. So I guess we'll just see how it goes.
Yeah, and that's going to be the thing. So for now, we're recommending is just hoard. Like, I've got those 6 characters in my favorites. They're gear 12. And all I'm doing is I'm hoarding resources so I can immediately relic and take them to at least 5, because all I'm doing is farming the components in for the relics. You know, now I'm in a unique situation because I've got gas now. He's relic 7. I got the clone troopers. Pretty much, I'll get them the relic 5. I'm not taking the relic 7 now. So, you know, I'm spending the next month just hoarding and just waiting. What's going to drop next? What you got to throw at me? Because that's going to have a big determination of like how soon I can get it. And do I really, go for it initially, or do I just wait a little bit and then just go for it when it's there? Because it'll be there no matter what. It'll be there whenever I'm ready to go there and get it. So, people don't need to freak out at the moment. Just kind of wait about it. Anything you want to drop on that, Finn?
No, I expressed most of my thoughts on Wednesday. So.
Yeah. Well, some people only watch us on Saturdays, Finn. Just throwing that out there.
Well, like I said, I like it from the perspective of, especially as a free-to-play, right? The amount that you need in order to get the new Kylo and Rey is going to cause so much GP increase simply by taking characters to Relic 7 and Relic 5. And then they say Relic's not needed. Chances are it's either going to be something along the lines of the other quests where you're going to have to do something like 50 times, or they're going to make it so there's like a GP requirement, which technically doesn't mean that they're requiring you to get relics. You can maybe force Zetas instead in order to get that GP. Whatever the case is, the GP increase that you're going to need in order to get these new Rey and Kylo makes it so that if free-to-play players don't go for it immediately, while they may get hit in stuff like just the regular squad arena, in all other things where GP, like GAC, for example, is matched up based on your top 80 GP, you are not inflating it with characters that you're not going to use, like a Relic 5 OG Finn, who's probably going to phase out when all the new Resistance characters are there. Or the Resistance Trooper, which unfortunately, while I use him now, is probably going to fade out as well from the main Resistance team that you're going to use, and maybe can be used as a cleanup. But you really don't want, especially as a free-to-play and you're building your roster, regardless of what level you are. I mean, I'm still in that same position where I'm bottom fluffing because it doesn't affect my top 80 GP and it lets me get more usable Gear 11 characters.
Yeah.
So for free to play, it might hurt you in Squad Arena, but Squad Arena has been changing for a while to a game area where you basically either have to stay on the cutting edge of everything, which can drive you batty as a free to play because all you're doing is hoarding, or you just do what you can in Squad Arena and have fun in other game modes like GAC and TW with your guilds. And that's where I'm at. So I spend my resources, and I have a lot of fun just working on other characters. And unfortunately, I have to Relic 7 a Rose Tico. So, I mean, it'll happen, but at least I can have fun with my roster and I'm not hoarding all the time because it's a game and I want to use the stuff that I have in game. Like, if my game revolves around me just hoarding things for months at a time, right, then what is the point? There's no point in it. If you're just hoarding over and over and over again, it's a game, you should be playing it. And I think free to play have a nice way of actually managing everything that's coming with the new Rey and Kylo because of the GP increase they're forcing with all these mandatory levels.
All right. All right. That being said, let's get into the questions. Finn, and you've been scooping them up, so you can kind of throw me into that mix. I don't know where Gama and T-Bunny are today. They were out last night getting drunk off maple syrup. I don't know what's their deal, so it's all good. So start firing away questions, Finn. Choose whoever you like.
Sure. So of the panel, I will choose.
I choose Warrior. Yeah, go Warrior.
No, we'll rotate in and answer questions too. Yes. So Warrior, question from Bailrit, who asks, Warrior, do you miss the game? And does Sure Shot still play and enjoy the Hyperdrive bundle?
Yeah, so I'll answer that in reverse. Sure Shot does still play. Yes, he loves the Hyperdrive bundle. It actually reinvigorated him. He was literally going to quit with me. So you guys have no idea what you guys did for him, because as soon as that was purchased for him, he just, I don't know, something about it just caused him to kind of get reinvigorated. And he went off on a winter vacation, and he came back 2 weeks later, and I was like, I'm quitting. And he was like, I'm not quitting. And I was like, oh. He's like, well, I'm enjoying it actually more than I've enjoyed it for a year. And I'm like, oh, well, that's cool. I'm like legit quitting. He's like, oh no, what's that going to do for our live streams? I'm like, we'll do something else. No big deal. But so it was funny because we like literally two paradigm shifts. We were both in the same place before he left on that vacation. Like, we're both literally mentally in the exact same place. They bought the Hyperdrive bundle. You guys, the viewers, bought the Hyperdrive bundle for him. And it literally, that 2 weeks, it just totally like encouraged him, and he got into the game again and started playing it with like a new mind, a new fresh outlook, and just was playing it and like all excited again and loving it. And so yeah, he's still playing and loves the game, and the Hyperdrive bundle did wonders for him. So thank you to all the viewers who donated money on that live stream for him to get the Hyperdrive bundle. I thought that would be an awesome Christmas gift, and it was, and he loved it. And so to everybody, thanks. And there's no it's not out to have that as the content for when him and I do a live stream, to have him doing his game in the background. I mean, I'm not opposed to that he play his game in the background while we like chat and talk and stuff on the live stream. So just because I'm not playing doesn't mean that can't be the content for our conversation anyway, just so you know. That's a possibility. So there's that. The second, do I miss the game? Rarely. Rarely. I do notice I have a lot more time. I think my wife probably appreciates the fact that I help out around the house more.
Okay.
I probably do more chores than I used to, which is a good thing because I have more time. I do far less communication on my phone. I was doing thousands of communication a day, which my phone has died down as far as communication, which has been really nice. I don't think anybody understands or appreciates the kind of communication that a YouTuber has on their phone. And that's on Discord and things like that. As a gamer / YouTuber, like the literal thousands of messages you get daily on a phone, and how to filter through the messages and stuff it's chaos. And that like really got way slower, which has been really, really nice for like mental clarity and like peace of mind. It's been really good because work has been pretty busy, and so it's been nice to be able to really focus where it's important. So there's rarely times where I'm like, oh hey, I wish I was playing. But there's been a couple times over the last 2 months where I'm like, oh, like over the last month, I guess I should say it's only been a month, where I'm like, oh, I wonder what's going on. So I would go to the forums. I've done that twice. I've gone to the forums twice. One time I went to the forums and nothing new had happened. I was like, oh, that's predictable. And then the other time was when someone said, hey, they finally dropped something, and I went there and the content was the new assault battles, and I was like, oh well, I guess you can chalk that up for semi-new content. And then I've watched a couple of videos. I watched Urzatron's video where he talked about me quitting, where he like said, if Warrior quits, should you quit? And he's like, no, this game's perfect for everybody. Nobody should quit and stuff. It's really funny. It's cute. I like it. So anyway, I watched that. And then I watched an Arnold video. It's hard to watch because he's so like, he jumps around and stuff a lot. But he just, talking about all the new content and stuff like that. I tried to watch that. I don't know. I think it's enough watching that I'm like, oh, yeah. I think that's, a couple minutes watching that, and I was like, yeah, I've got my fill. I don't think I need any more. I've gone onto my phone and tried to download a new game or something, and I looked through the games, and I'm just like, I can't do a mobile game. I really can't. I just can't do a mobile game. If it has in-game app purchases, I just can't do it. So I have one game on my phone, and it is a tower defense game, and there's no in-app purchases. It's kind of a lame game, but it passes the time if I'm like super bored. But honestly, work keeps me pretty busy when I'm at work, and when I'm at home, I've been more productive with actually doing things, like I said, that matter, being more of the part of the team, because when you're at home, you're part of a team, and so everybody knows that I'm part of a pretty big team at the house. So
there you go.
Just trying to be more of part of the team. But it does cross my mind a couple of times. So it does. It's like anything. When you do something for 4 years, I think things like that are part of your life are going to, occasionally cross your mind. But I don't miss it terribly, that's for sure. But I do love Star Wars, love talking about it. Hence the reason why here I am on the show chatting about it.
There you go. Yeah. All right. Next, let's get to the next question there, Dr. Finn.
Okay. Next question, we'll kind of go around the corner on this one. Question from Bale Rit says, for Darkside GOTB, what character do you feel is your number one must-have, and why?
Darkside GOTB?
Mm-hmm. Let's start with you, Ranger. Who do you think is the number one must-have for Darkside GOTB, and why?
It's hard to say. I mean, so for the missions, obviously, the first thing that comes to mind is GBA. I mean, because you use it in so many spots. After that, even for just needed for platoons, but just because of just how good they are, I mean, it kind of falls into the Sith Empire. Sith Empire could do a lot of things, right? But overall, a character that you will need and have them geared and relicked and have to use them for the Acklay and other missions. GBA is one that kind of sticks out in my mind. That was one that as soon as he came available to farm, I'm like, yeah, this character is going to be pretty important. And then Malik as well for your Sith Empire team, especially when you get to Phase 3 and 4, where you need that Sith Empire team, to go in there and do some damage, because Night Sisters can do okay, your other teams can do okay. But you do know you're going to get those points with Sith Empire. And then once you get Watt going, he makes a huge difference. Once you get him 7-starred, I can't wait to start dicking around with him on my teams for some of these missions and stuff, because I've not had a chance to use them until recently when I got him to 7 stars in Gear 12 and everything like that. So, but overall, I'll say GBA is the number one most important one. What about you?
Okay. This is probably the normal one, but I'm going to say Malik. Yeah. Sorry, the Darth Revan team gives me the best results regardless of anything right now, and it's such a good team overall. And the survival of Malik is just ridiculous. So I would probably say it's Malik, because for all the non-specific ones, right? He's probably gonna get you most of your waves up until like wave the third phase, right? And then once you get into the third and fourth phase, it all goes down, but you need all the relics and stuff on them. And uh yeah, and then the amount that he helps you outside of Darkside GOTB, not just being Darkside GOTB, I think I would go with Malik.
Okay. Anything you want to add, Warrior?
Yeah, I think Sith Empire and Geos are definitely the best two teams. But speaking from a free-to-play perspective, on my Scissorman account, when doing Darkside GOTB, the one team I had that I could throw into the Darkside GOTB and do really well. In fact, I was able to earn shards and get 4-4 and all of that from free-to-play, and it was the only team I had that could do that was my GBA team, and GBA is free to play friendly. You know, I already had my Geos for ships. That was one of the first ship teams I went for, and then he came out, and it was like just a cantina farm. That was it. And he's not a terrible gear, and you know, you get him up, and that team's simplistic. You know, Malik's great, Sith Empire's great, but how many prerequisites does it take to get, you know, light side first, then dark side, then both of them for Malik? I mean, there's so much to that. For free to play friendly aspects, you know, GBA is just a cantina farm, and then there's a bunch of easy to gear, free to play friendly single aspect characters, and all of them are usable for ships too. So, you know, 3 of them are usable for ships too. So, and that team can go 4-for-4 all the way through. You know, if they're relic high enough, they can go 4-for-4 all the way through. And there's 2 special missions, actually 3 missions, 2 special missions, and a third mission that requires Geos or Pogoli that you have to use them on anyway. So it's like 3 missions they're prerequisited with them, and then they are just overpowered. And then of course you'll use them in Territory Wars, Grand Arena, all that kind of stuff. So I would say GBA is really the all-star for free to play, and was for my Scissorman account was the only team I was able to really contribute on that high-end content for the first like 2 months of doing that.
All right.
I'll say the one other character too, and I didn't mention him because honestly I think he's probably the number one, but it takes so long to get him. I think Watt is the key to all of Darkside GOTB.
Yeah, once you get Watt, it's.
But getting him to like 7-star to even be usable is a trek in and of itself, yes, especially depending on what guild you are. So I didn't want to mention that one, but Watt is probably the number one. Yeah, I know. so Watt probably would be number one. I'm still working on mine, so all right, let's go to our next question from Paparazzi. And so question is, I have all the resources to get a Relic 7 gas team, but I am still hoarding for episode 9 legendaries. Am I still hoarding the good hoard? And then she says, also, Warrior's mic is amazing now.
Random.
So what do we think about hoarding right now? I'll start with Warrior. We'll go around the corner on this. So what do you think about hoarding? Is it still a good idea to hoard for episode 9? Or would you use it to get a Relic 7 gas team?
So I don't know why occasionally my mic goes out with you guys, and then I have to like hang up and call back. I have no idea why that happens, but it does for some reason. So I'm glad it sounds good now. But so yay for it working right now. And then I did order some new lapel mics as far as my professional stuff for my own live streams, because we're going to like group conversations now, and the lapels we're using are kind of defunct. So she's speaking on my live streams from the past. The quality's kind of gone burp, 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 burp. So, but anyway, what was the question? Quality.
Oh, my lord. Yeah.
Is it a good idea to keep hoarding, or
hoarding.
Should you Relic 7 a gas team?
You know, if you have everything and you can access that, but you can't access gas right now, can you? So
no. I think she already has him at 7-star, but just not geared up to Relic 7.
It's a decision to hoard the stuff. Yeah.
I would say it's obviously her choice. because it's her choice, but it's not a horrible thing to hoard. I know you're kind of opposed to it, and me personally, when I played, I never really hoarded because I'm kind of of the same mind as you. It's like, find something, chew on it, work with what's known versus what's unknown. That's always been of my mind, just because if you know something, then you can work on it, and then when something's unknown, whatever. But I've also been burned by Gas and Malik and not having them ready because they sat at 5-star because I didn't know when I didn't hoard certain,
Oh, no! No!
So,
Warrior!
Your
Your mic!
Mike, no.
You did it again.
out of nowhere, I'm just like talking and it goes out. That's great.
Yeah, you sound like you're talking. Wait, now you're back.
Oh,
You're back now.
weird.
Okay, Warrior's back.
All right.
Continue.
So, sounds all right.
Yes.
Yeah, you're good now.
Anyway, okay. So, I would say, if you feel like you're hoarding and you think there's still other characters, then do that. There's a really good chance there are other characters. I feel like they're so far behind the curve right now that there's probably at least 4 other characters from the movie that are going to come out. But do I think there's other legendary characters coming out? No. I think there's other B-level characters coming out, not legendary A-level characters coming out. So if you're okay with getting more Sith Trooper style characters and you're hoarding for those style characters, then wait. But if you're hoarding for something better than like a Sith Trooper style First Order character, then I probably wouldn't be hoarding, because the next 2 overpowered characters in the game that are like Malik, a level badass characters, are the Rey and Kylo that are coming out in a couple of months, so that you already know about. So I would get your Gas. If it was me and I was in your shoes, I would just get the known of Gas. You have that advantage and start using that. And getting him modded properly and reliced up properly and all of that. But there are a couple of other characters probably coming into the game, but are they going to be at the level of legendary style? I personally don't think so, but I could be wrong, and that never hurt to hoard. But I think the characters that are coming in, you're probably right, there are, and hoarding wouldn't hurt for them, but I don't think they're going to be at that level.
All right.
Yeah, I tend to agree.
Yeah.
The other key thing too, right, is what is going to be your payoff for it. Like if it helps you in arena, then like if you're missing out on getting like rank 1 in arena because your gear is a little bit lower, then it's a little bit more of an impact too, right? Because you know exactly what you're going to get out of it. So make sure that you know kind of the benefits that you're getting from using the resources versus hoarding it, if you do want to hoard it.
Right.
Okay.
Science.
Next question from Darsion 1972. It says, pure speculation as we don't have the kits, but if I can only go for one galactic legend, would you recommend Kylo or Rey? I'm leaning towards Rey simply for light side GOTV.
Well, I don't know how you mean, if it's a choice because you like Rey or you like dark side better or light side better, that's fine. But we haven't seen the kits, so I mean, I'm not going to sit there and, if that's what you want to go for, great. But you're just doing it because you think it's going to be a better character. Me, because we don't know what the kits are going to be. I mean, on all honesty, I think the kits on both of them are going to be pretty damn good. However, we don't know which one's going to stand out ahead of the other one because we don't know. So, I mean, if you're going to pick one, just again wait and see what the kits are, and then go for. If you can only do one, then just do one, right? If you want to do just Rey first and then go back and get Kylo, which is fine, but I just wait. And don't make a pre-choice unless your heart's set on, like, I really love Darkseid and Kylo's my favorite character. Go for it. Kit be damned. Play with what makes you happy. Don't be like Finn.
And Relic 7 or Rose TV.
That's right. Which special? What time are we doing that today, Finn?
I don't know if we want to do it today or if we want to do it next week, because I just realized, like, Super Bowl weekend, people are going to be preoccupied.
That's true.
Right? So I think maybe we'll make it a bigger thing next weekend on Saturday.
Okay.
Right after Jedi Academy, we'll do that. We'll give away the lightsaber and all Relic 7.
Yeah, and people have been asking me, Finn, like, like they wanted to donate some more to that lightsaber. I know you closed the event, but I told them that if you really wanted to donate toward it and stuff, just to message you, you can open up temporarily so they could make it.
Yeah, but we said we were gonna close it as soon as we hit 17,500.
That's true.
So I don't want to go back on what we said.
But then if people want to donate to ACS,
you can still donate to the ACS. We still have the wristbands and a bunch of other stuff that you can donate to, and I'm going to add a couple more of the autographed cards on there from the RSG crew. So there's going to be some other stuff, but for the purposes of the lightsaber, yeah, we have to close it because that's when we were going to close it. So we closed it right at the end of the Wednesday night stream.
They're yelling at you in chat, Finn.
Why?
It says, who's doing anything for the Super Bowl today? Finn is delaying. You flash and roll.
If you guys want it today, I can. I just wanted to make sure everyone had no.
And then Briere says Finn doesn't want to do it yet. He's stalling. And then
fine, 8 p.m. today. I'll say it now then. If you guys want it today, it's done. 8 p.m. today. I'll send an email out to everyone too. 8 p.m. today will be the
skewers have spoken, man. They're going all in on your ass.
That's fine.
Man.
That's fine. 8 p.m. today. Ooh. Warrior, you should join. You're gonna see if you join, you'll see the relicking 7 of a Rose Kiko.
That's where happiness dies.
It sure is.
You're not wrong. Not wrong. All right, 8 p.m. today. I'll set up the event right after we're done here.
That's amazing.
I tried.
That's super math balls.
All right.
I'm so happy.
Yeah. All right. Next question from Darsan 1972. He says, "Who do I Zeta first, Indiana Poe or Banana Republic Finn? And which Zeta is the better one?" Have you really looked at their kits a lot, Warrior? And do you have a preference on which Zeta first?
Finn, I had looked at preliminarily. Poe, or the new Finn, I have. No, sorry, Finn, yes. The new Indiana Poe, no.
Okay.
So can't really answer that, but I'm guessing they're both probably equally worthy.
They are. So the benefit of Finn is it helps you against a lot of teams that can make you not be able to get your turn, right? So stuns and fear and all of that. And the benefit may be a little bit better from Finn. If you look at both the Zetas of Finn and Poe, they're almost specifically designed to fight Darth Revan the way that they work, where if you crit on Poe or any resistance ally when Poe is there, they're going to remove taunt, so that means Malik is not going to stay taunting. You can start jumping around on other stuff. And then similarly with Finn, if you lose a turn, you regain health and protection and gain turn meter, and it just works out well. So if you're looking to pick one, I would probably go with Finn. The other benefit of Finn is that he just went into chromiums, which means he's also going to be free to play quicker. So your investment in that team is going to be able to get to 7-star a little bit quicker than Poe, who's about like a month delayed or so from Finn. So Finn is probably the better Zeta and the one that you want to do first. But if you're trying to put together the team, you're going to want both of them because they just work together really well. Where then if you crit somebody, you're going to remove any of the buffs that they have, as well as if they miss the turn, then they're going to gain the health and protection, and just overall survival of the team works out well. So, yeah, I would work on Finn first, then followed by Poe.
Science.
Okay. Next question. Sith Lord 72. So Warrior, my negotiator is 7-star, and I'm taking first in fleet. Should I continue to farm malevolence or get 2 in case they are needed for the new capital ships? I sense a disturbance in CG's force.
I suppose that would probably be, again, another personal choice. There's a really good chance the next 2, the First Order and Resistance capital ships will probably need get 2. There's a really good chance of that. So, at least at a minimum to get them 6 and 7 stars, but possibly all the way up, just like they did with these. So, I would decide if that's something you would rather do. Kind of like they gave you too many ships at one time and you had to decide all in on negotiator or do malevolence, and some people abandoned their negotiator and went to malevolence, and some said screw malevolence and finish negotiator off. You kind of have to decide, do you want to now go all in on malevolence and say heck with the new ones? And this is where you answer this. Do you have better droid ships, basically the geos and the droids, to make malevolence relevant, or do you have better first order ships and characters to make like the first order fleet a better option? Because if your first order fleet is kind of crappy trash, then it would be kind of a whole lot more investment of energy, effort, money, time, everything. And why? You know what I mean? If malevolence is going to be a hop, skip, and a jump from being readily available. So you got to kind of look at the big picture of everything it takes to invest in a team. So, if you're going all in on the new Kylo Ren and you already like Relic 5, everything first order kind of thing in preparation, then one would be safe to assume you're probably ready for a new first order capital ship. Then yes, you probably would be okay with saving and preparing for a new first order capital ship, but I would probably save all your get currency and just say you don't need malevolence because you have negotiator and they're both really good ships but have different strengths, and you could probably skip the malevolence. So and save. But I guess it depends on where you're at. I mean, if you're looking at your first order and you've got a bunch of gear 9 or gear 12 stuff, you probably don't need to worry about a first order capital ship at this point.
There you go.
Okay. Next question from Wolffell. Says, this is the first dark side GOTB that my geos are going to be eligible for Watt and the Acolyte. Is GBA's leader Zeta required or just recommended? And any more advice for Watt or Acolyte? Is his leader required? No. Does it help? Yes.
Yes. Science.
The damage output and everything going up with your geos makes a huge difference. So unless you're able to get a lot of survival out of your team, which will depend on your relics and your mods and all of that on your geos, the leader Zeta may not be required. However, it prolongs the fight. Especially on the Acolyte, because those Jedi are getting like so many buffs and everything that your geos are going to get increased damage. So I would say yes. It's recommended. I would say highly recommended, in fact, but I don't think it's necessarily required depending on where your relics and your gear and mods are. And then in terms of advice on the Acolyte, I am too inconsistent with my Acolyte because my geos are between like gear 11, gear 12. So I can beat it, but it's not consistent at all. I've lost more times than I've won. So I have a general idea on the strategy, but sometimes the AoEs just come and kill me, and there's not much else. So I'll leave it to you, Warrior and Ranger, to give any advice.
I have a video where I have no relics, none, on my Geo team, and I win. So if you want to see a video, it's called Acolyte Down, and it's all Gear 12 Geos, and I do a walkthrough, a step-by-step how to beat it. Basically, long story short, you want to ability block the Jedi that do AoE, but you want to try to keep them alive. The reason is the Acolyte does less damage the more Jedi that are alive. So when you kill Jedi, the Acolyte starts to do more damage. So you got to keep those Jedi alive, but you definitely don't want to keep them alive without ability block on, because if they are not ability blocked, they do AoE damage to all your characters, and the AoE damage hits all your characters, which means the equalization is a moot point. You can't equalize if everyone's equally being hurt. So you've got to hit the Jedi, do an ability block. So potency is super, super important on Poggle. And then you want to ability block the next Jedi, ability block the next Jedi, any of them that do AoE, but keep them all alive. And then you can start going after the Acolyte, keeping in mind that the very first thing you need to do is you need to do the dispel of his special Enrage, which only GBA, your leader, can do. So you're going to take off Enrage, ability block the Jedi, leaving the Jedi there so that way they can help you kill the Acolyte. And then it's just going after the Acolyte, and then as soon as the Acolyte goes back to Enrage, don't hit him. Because every time you hit him, you're going to make him speed up and go faster. So you're then going to turn your rage onto the Jedi and slowly start killing them until GBA gets his turn again to be able to take Enrage off of the Acolyte. Mm-hmm. But basically keeping the Jedi alive, but ability blocked is key. So you need a lot of potency on your Poggle, and you need to save your cleanses for if Poggle gets ability blocked, because if he gets ability, if Poggle gets or dazed, because if Poggle gets dazed, he doesn't get called to assist, and that shuts down your ability blocking from Poggle. So you want to be able to cleanse Poggle if he gets dazed. And he'll get dazed potentially a couple different ways. So that's basically it. But I mean, I've got a whole video on it and I walked through it and all of that. And this was kind of the age before Relics. I think Relics had come out, but I hadn't reliced any of the team yet. And I do talk about kind of a couple of the Gear 12 and Gear 12 Plus pieces that are important to look at as a possibility, specifically the furnaces, because each furnace is 6,500 health, and that's shared amongst the entire team. So you might want to consider when they're all at Gear 12 putting those furnaces on, because each furnace gives the entire group that to share, which helps with viability. But anyway, yeah, Acolyte down, SWGOH, Acolyte down, Warrior Presents, and it's a good video, so check it out.
Yeah, very nice.
There you go. Next question.
All right.
Red Ribbon Army, and we'll go around the corn on this. So he says, we have GAC with characters and GAC with characters and ships. With all the capital ships and the supposed addition of new ships, do you think we could see a GAC with ships only?
No. Not for a while.
I don't think we'll ever see it.
Yeah. I just don't think it's a thing. I mean, we've even discussed like a raid possible with ships. I just don't see it. They may incorporate ships into some of these features and stuff like that, but no, I don't see it at all.
Ships are kind of like the secondary part of this game, right? The main thing is still all of the characters and getting them. Ships is there, and it's like a parallel game mode, but it's definitely the secondary game.
Yeah, it's
for everything right now. So a full ship GAC just wouldn't make sense to me. I still doubt that they're going to have enough ships to even justify it right now, right? Because we have, 6 capital ships right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
And at 6 capital ships, they're adding 2 more, which gives 8. Even if you have 4 zones, right, that means that everyone's going to have to place 1 on defense on every zone, and then they only have 4 for offense. So even numbers-wise, we don't really have enough to justify it. We'll probably need, even for that thought, right, if they're going to make it 4 zones. If they just make it 2 zones, it's not really, I mean, you'll put 2 on defense, you'll have 6 for offense, something like that. And again, that's not really that engaging, right? So I don't think they're going to ever have a ship-only GAC. Warrior, what do you think? Do you think they could ever include a ship-only GAC?
I really don't. There's just not enough content, not enough variability. You got to remember with ships, there's not as much countering capability. It's like this, Malevolence is really built as the counter for Negotiator. Negotiator is built for the counter for, Rebels. Rebels was the counter built against Mace Windu's, timeout team. I mean, everything has had a singular counter to counter the previous meta, and each meta was good for 4 to 6 months kind of thing. And so everything, it's like paper, rock, scissors for the past, which is great, except for if somebody puts, A, B, and C on defense, we all know that we need to use, D, E, and F for offense. And that's just stupid because you'll just go in and do 3 ship battles and you're done. and there's a lot of those teams that kind of conflict with specific character, ships that you need. There's not enough. We don't really have enough ships. They've never really built ships out in the same way that they built characters out. And the truth is, while individuals like me have always enjoyed ships, there's a lot of people in the game that have tolerated it just because, but not a lot of people enjoy it, and I don't think they are going to put a lot of time, energy, and effort into a game mode, putting something out like that they know is going to cause disdain, when they already know that some of their game modes already cause disdain that they enjoy making. So
it's just one of those things. I mean, ships, if they went all in on it, could be something cool, but they just kind of throw one here and throw one there, and now they get this announcement of new capital ships. So I mean, I think if they invested more in ships and did something more with it, they could be something. But they just don't. We get way more characters than we do ships. You get a ship here and there once in a while, but we still don't have enough ships to fill all the requirements for all of the capital ships we have now, and now they're adding 2 more capital ships. So it makes me think, like, what is their concept over there with ships? What's their plan for it? So, and I know there's people out there that love ships, and that's cool. And I mean, more power to you. But I mean, it's always been a part of the game. But I mean, if you're talking about like a whole, raid or GAC with ships, it's not feasible, and there's not enough diversity. And you talk about boring battles, I mean, just like 4 zones, 4 different ships, and it's like, okay, so, I mean, even having anything left to fight, I don't know how they would do it, but yeah, I don't see it, so. All right, next question.
Next question is from N.R. Wilson, and the question is, once you get Malik and Gas 7-star, is it a pretty safe bet to save 70,000 get 1 just in case they pull a fast one?
I would say 140,000 get 1.
Yes.
I'm not kidding you. Every time in the past I said I need 25,000 for something, then all of a sudden they raised it to 50,000. And don't be surprised when you save 50,000 that they then switch it to a new currency. That's exactly what's happened in the past. They have a specific currency you need. You save X amount, they double it, and then you're like, dang it. So then you only have half as much as you need. And then the next time you save twice as much, they then switch it to a new currency, and you're like, that. And that's just how they do it. So I would say 140, and if you're lucky, that currency will be worth it. And the next time something comes out, you'll find that there's now get 3, and you're like, oh, never mind. So and you'll just have it for something else. So, and then after you spend all the 140 that you saved, they'll surprise you and bring out a character or a ship in a year that all of a sudden needs get 1 again. That's put in that shop, and they'll say, well, we never said we weren't going to put people back in there, and then you'll have no currency again, and you'll be a whale complain, or a veteran complaining about not having a supply of it.
Right.
They've done that with every single thing in the game so far. Yeah, they know exactly what currency you're hoarding, and they find ways to try and drain you. On a related note, did you see what they did with the weekly store this week? They have 2 items in there for like 50,000 of the ally tokens each. There's some of the Gear 12 pieces. They are really on a mission to try and drain people of all those ally tokens they gave away earlier. So it's kind of interesting to see their strategies to try and get rid of some of those, or like Warrior's saying, increase the cost. So we'll see a lot of that, I think, upcoming here.
Yeah.
Okay, next question from Bale Red, and I think this will be the last one before Warrior leaves. Oh, so 125,000 each. Thank you, Ouchie. I knew it was something ridiculous. Yeah, there were 125,000 allied tokens each in the weekly store right now.
Yeah. So
that just tells me they're trying to drain you of it in order to prevent you from using it on something in the future. So we'll see what happens. The Bale Rit says, when do you think we could get a Death Star raid? And do you think CG will require us to relic rebels not normally used to play it?
Something like that would be after content, like a lull in content. So right now they're super behind on the last content, and then when they, get to the point where they're kind of slowing down on this, then they're going to be focused on the next, which could be, Clone Wars content for the cartoon and or next season of Mandalorian, and they decide we're just going to ditch content they maybe had planned because they're like, shoot, we better get on the Mandalorian season 2. So I could see them, planning out the next 6 months and whatever they had on the board, scrapping it and switching gears. So I could see the next,
Warrior, you're all tubey again.
Oh, my back.
No, you're still tubed. Wait, now you're good.
Oh, no. Okay, am I good?
Yes.
Yeah, you're good now.
Okay, that's so weird that it does that. But anyway, I could see from now till December of this year, actually, the next 9 months, it being, I could see it being kind of planned out already, because of them being behind the curve and them actually having to kind of throw away some ideas even and not being able to do everything that they have on their board because of being behind. And they've already admitted to being behind. So I could see us actually not getting some things that we were expecting. So I would say it would have to be probably 2021 and probably be like a new raid that they announce in 2021. Say like, hey, it's been like, a couple of years. We haven't done a new raid. We're doing a new raid. It will be spring of 2021 and they'll start talking about it in the end of 2020.
Mm-hmm.
So as to hype it. So they'll say, in 2020, they'll start talking about it in quarter 3. They'll say, we got a new raid coming out soon, in like quarter 3 on the whatever ahead thing. And then quarter 4, they'll say, yeah, we're still working on it. We're just working out the kinks. And then they'll say, it's coming out next quarter. And then, maybe quarter 1, it'll come out and it'll end up coming out in like March of next year. So they'll get to talk about it for 9 months. But they'll, maybe bring it out in March of 2021. And that will be because they won't have anything to bring out in March of 2021. So maybe, I don't know, but that would be something that they've wanted to do, and that's something that people have wanted for a long time. And at the same time, they could bring in some of those less relevant characters that they were talking about.
Okay. And I think, Warrior, you have to start heading off, right?
I do. I apologize. I love hanging out longer than an hour, but these days lately have had me bailing at about 9 o'clock. So I appreciate you having me on.
You want to pimp all your stuff here before you head off?
Oh yeah, just as usual. You can catch me on Twitter daily. You can also catch me. I'm still floating around the Facebook page. If you guys have questions about the game and you still want information, you can always still catch me there on the Facebook page. I can still answer questions from time to time there, and you can still catch me weekly on Warrior Presents on Facebook,
Science,
on YouTube. Science. Thank you guys. You have
Thanks,
a wonderful
Warrior.
afternoon. Yeah.
see you, brother.
See ya.
All right. So let's get through some more questions here. And once again, guys, if you guys can take a second, please hit that thumbs up so we know that you guys like the content.
The thumbs up.
Mm-hmm.
And stuff.
Okay. So let's go ahead and start.
Since it's just you and me, let's just sit and talk about our feelings now about.
No, thank you. Okay. Mostef Isley, question. I'm finally getting a 7-star Watt Tambor after this Darkside GeoTB.
Yay!
What's your favorite team that you like to use Watt in for defense and for offense?
Anything. I mean, that dude works everywhere. Put him on first order, you can use him on first order. You want to use him with the Rebels, you can use him with the Rebels. I mean, you want to use him for Darth Revan, you can use him on Darth Revan. That's how good that character is. Mm-hmm. You can put him anywhere. Offense or defense, and that team is just more of a pain in the ass. So yeah.
So the two that come to me, right? So the one for defense that I've liked is Grievous, B1, B2, Magna Guard, and Watt.
Right.
I love that team for defense. If you can get a really fast Watt, it completely throws them off on what's about to happen. Mm-hmm. For offense, Newt, Dooku, what was it? Newt, Dooku, Asajj, Watt, and Enfys. because Dooku stealths everyone besides Enfys, and then Watt just keeps on like going and going because he's stealth and you can't get to him because he has his own plus Dooku giving him stealth. You're forced to hit Enfys. If you have a tenacity heavy Enfys, that team works so well because she's just not going to be stopped. So that team is really fun on offense. So those are the two teams that I like. There's a lot of different variants, like Ranger said, because Watt can fit on a bunch of teams.
Yep.
How are you doing today, Loki? Oh, and we have Mike here too.
Good morning.
Loki, are you here? Hey, there you are. How are you doing this morning?
It's all Ouchie's fault I'm here because she put guilt trip on me.
She's known for that.
So I had to run up to my room so I can get Wi-Fi, and here I am.
Well, it's good to have you
could
on.
have just
and then-
said no, Loki. I say it all the time, man.
He can't say no to Ouchie. That's his favorite.
No, I can't.
That's true.
And Mike, are you there?
Yes. Hello there.
How are you doing, Mike?
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. Working towards the next legendaries and all of that.
Of course.
Yeah. I agree. I'm sorry, I'm rehashing, but ships is a mystery. I mean, we have to have them for certain things, but they don't push them for anything else.
Mm-mm.
I mean, you know, we're all gearing up First Order stormtroopers and First Order officers, but you know, where is it on the ships? There's nothing there, or is that to come? You know, are you going to need Kylo's shuttle for what part of the legendary?
Probably.
Mm-hmm.
They're probably going to force you to have all of the ships.
Yeah, that's why I finished my Rey's Millennium Falcon yesterday, and I've got Kylo's ships. So I've got all the ships finally done. So I have been farming those, but yeah.
just to let you know, Kylo's fighter, whatever it's called,
The
his TIE
silencer?
fighter. Yeah,
Mhm.
205 at R7. Haven't got to use it yet, but 205 and a ridiculous amount of health.
Very nice.
Mm.
Yeah, just because you've got there's a few resistance and you've got Rey's Falcon. That's a bitch to get because that's a hard node. So it's Kylo Ren's command shuttle. I mean, Poe's not that bad. Resistance Fighter's not that bad, but yeah, goodness. So if they do incorporate ships into this, Kylo's ship TIE silencer is easy to get, because it's part of the Cantina drop, right? But some of these other ones, my dear Lord in heaven,
Just a pitta.
yeah, Jesus, such a nightmare to have to deal with something like that, So, ugh.
Yeah, ships has unfortunately been one of those game modes that's almost like a forgotten game mode, and then every now and then they're like, oh, we have ships, we can throw that in there, and then they just kind of throw it in like as requirements haphazardly in one thing or another, but they never really fully develop it. They just throw us like a crumb after another just to make sure it's like, yeah, remember you have ships over here, and then they just give us like one thing, and it doesn't make any sense with the progression of the game, but they'll just throw it out there. So
Yeah,
it is what it is.
Three of the new releases are crewless ships as well, aren't they?
Yeah. And the way that they've been doing the capital ships makes no sense either, right? Because they released Negotiator, that is Galactic Republic, so it takes away from Mace, so you don't really have a fleet under Mace. But even if you think you can throw some like hodgepodge things under him, they're now releasing 2 capital ships, and we're still 1 regular ship away from being able to field a complete team under the 6 that we have.
mm-hmm.
So I don't know what they're doing with ships. We'll see. It just seems like the ships is like a forgotten thing that they just keep on just throwing in randomly every now and then just to make it seem like, yeah, this is active. And then the fact that they're talking about another vehicle mode gets me very worried about this game. It's like, no, please, just work on fix ships first, figure out what the problems were, address it in ships, and then move on to another one, because you're definitely not ready yet in order to introduce like pod racing into the game, because you will ruin. All right. So since we have some new people here, let's go ahead and start with Loki. Loki, first question is from Stings for you. He says, since Rey has synergy with all light side characters, is a Visas Mar meta potentially coming?
I would say no, because Visa's Mar doesn't have synergy with anybody other than Ray. But she's just a bad character, man. And I went all in on her too. Like, I put the Zeta on her, and I geared her up and all that, and she's just bad.
Yeah.
So she really needs a rework, and she needs to be associated with her Old Republic or Sith Empire,
Something.
or not Sith. I mean, something. She's got to have synergy with the light side Revan for sure, but she probably never will. She's not even a Jedi, right? That's the problem too.
Right.
So, yeah, but she would be wicked under, if she could have synergy with Revan and Jolie and, and the other Jedi. I think she'd be pretty OP. And maybe they're holding that back, and they're going to surprise us one day and say, "Oh, she's a Jedi now. She passed her test." So.
Mustaf Isley says she has synergy with Gamorrean Guard and Rex.
And Rex. Yeah, I knew that was coming. As soon as the question was asked, I'm like that.
Who will fight?
Yeah, she's pretty bad though. I mean, she needs a rework for sure.
Yeah. And the whole has synergy with all light side things needs to be taken with a little bit of caution here. Because synergy with light side characters means that their abilities may be able to affect all light side, but it doesn't necessarily mean like their effect is best with other light side versus their faction, right? The new Finn has his ability that affects all allies, but at least so far, everything I've seen has been just him on resistance teams doing really well, but haven't really seen him on other light side teams just throwing him in there because of his abilities. So synergy with all light side versus practicality with it are two different things. So just need to be a little cautious about that, especially leave Visas with Gamorrean Guard. It'll work better. Okay. Next one from Clash. Mike, and the question from Clash is, I'm working on a relatively unique Newt counter. What's the cheapest one out there so far, assuming Newt doesn't have a strong nest with them?
That's a good question. To be honest, it's not the cheapest one. It's probably not even the best one. The one I love using is a Padme with snips in there, because every time you clear Newt's whatever it is, the buff or the debuff that he places on you, she just goes and you get two things. You get the cleanse plus you get a hit. It's a tricky one, that one. I'm not the best place to answer that. To be honest, I normally hux them just because it's fun watching them try and not having Dooku counter. He just stands there and takes a whooping. It's lovely. But that's not a very cheap counter. I don't know. Open it out. This will be an interesting one. And anyone have a cheap?
The one that I've seen used somewhat frequently is Imperial Troopers, actually.
It can work, but
it can work. You do need mods. So when you say cheapest, I want to make sure that I'm understanding, because your gear needs to be somewhat equivalent, but you do also need to have about equivalent mods, right? And what happens is that your Imperial Troopers typically will get lesser mods in your roster than your Newt team, because the Separatists have a little bit of a better use right now than your Imperial Troopers, just overall, right? Imperial Troopers really don't work in Darkside GOTB. They're not used in GAC. Like they're like a cleanup team in GAC at best. They're not anywhere in Squad Arena. So why are you modding any of your Imperial Troopers versus the new team, which, depending on whatever variation you have, right? But you're probably, because Watt is a main character on the team, are putting a lot of good mods on your Watt team, whether it's for Watt, whether it's for your Dooku, because it also has a dark side GOTB effect and all of that, right? The main thing is that your new team is going to outmod the Imperial Troopers, unless for whatever reason you focus on the Imperial Troopers and have about equivalent mods. And if you have about equivalent mods, Imperial Troopers with the range trooper can take out that new team.
Yeah,
but most people don't have that ready because Imperial Troopers are
I have
low.
Gear 12 really good modded troopers that I will use occasionally. It ain't against the new team. I just been raffle stomped against them because if the troopers cannot get that initial kill, you're hosed. You are absolutely hosed. So
it's basically a Stark versus Watt type of thing in that matchup, right? It's the speed of your Stark.
Well,
versus,
Watt's going to go first no matter what. That's why I don't. If Watt's on that team, you're just like, I'm not using troopers.
And it screws you
because it's going to the tank, and then you can't get around it, and you just can't. It's stupid. So, unfortunately,
you can't lay down enough damage unless you've got like a Relic 7 Snow Trooper or something in there, and they're not that popular attuned to Relic 7 at the moment.
No.
So again, it's a hard team to have
usage, doesn't it? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If I see the Newt team, and I'll say, at least luckily for me, again, top 80 GP is a little bit lower than I think than the rest of you guys here. Newt is very rare on defense, but the couple of times I've seen it, it typically requires a pretty beefy team.
I go in CLS. I go CLS and I'm like, all right, Watt, I've had enough of you. Die.
Yep.
It's like
it's usually either CLS, Padme, or Traya that I end up having to use against the new team because you can't waste time on it.
I think that's the key there, isn't it? Is that if you try and use any cheap counter to it, it gets loose. It's going to cost you two. It's going to cost you 2 battles. You're going to lose the first one, and then you're going to have to use that A team that you were trying to save, and then it's going to impact. I think that is one of those squads that you check out their stats, and if they're good, then don't mess about. Throw something big in there and clear it, and then work on the rest. Because it really will bite. Really bite.
Yeah. So I think in order to answer your question, because I think he clarified, he's mainly looking for like gear and mod levels below the new team. I would say that it's probably for me the best one that I had success with being potentially lower geared is the Traya team. But you do need to have the Sith Empire Trooper now, as he's called, on that team, because you do need the additional taunts and little bit of distribution to make sure they don't focus fire. Because they can hurt if they get going with their turn meter gain and just start messing you up. But Traya kind of helps with that a little bit. I would say Traya.
Traya. But problem with that is if you use it for that team, then a lot of people...
Then you lose it against something else,
like
correct.
Geos. So you have to have a team that's ready for Geos, because a lot of people put Geos on defense. You can use Jawas. It depends on the relic. Depends on the relic level of the Geos. If you got a couple relic 3 Geos in there,
you need to have like a relic 1 Jawa team.
Yeah, because
I'm working on my Jawas.
You're going to get slaughtered. I've seen
Utini!
Yeah.
Utini!
You're going to take it in the Utini.
If you love the Jawas against Geos, put Utini in chat, because Ranger does not.
No, because
Ranger does not believe in Jawas versus Geos.
Man, it's like
you don't want to invest gear in them, though.
It's that, and not just that, but I've seen
Jawas now.
Even Darth Traya teams. I've seen Geo teams that I've faced. I've won, but by the hair of my skin of my teeth, because they've got like Relic 5 Geo Spy and Relic 5 Sunfac along with the Relic 5 GPA, and you're like, okay, yes, go use Utini against that and see what happens. You're going to get, you're going to take it in the Utini. I'm just throwing that out there.
Geos are a heavily invested squad because of the dark side TB, aren't they? I mean, and the rewards that it gives you, i.e., you need a really good one to be earning watch shards. So, yeah, it's always a heavily geared and well modded.
Yeah. So there you go.
Luckily, the Jawa team takes mods that you don't typically need on other characters, because they don't need speed, they don't need offense. You just load them up on protection and defense, and let them stand there
and pray.
I love the Jawas.
Just pray.
All right, next one I love the Utinis in chat. It makes me happy. Okay, Loki. Question from Infinity Gaming. He says, who do I Zeta first? My Gear 12 plus 4, almost Gear 13, First Order Stormtrooper, my Gear 9 Hux, or my Gear 9 Tomato Sith Trooper? I like the Tomato Sith Trooper.
It's Mr. Red.
I guess shoot, man, I hate putting a Zeta on like really low geared tunes.
I don't do it.
I know that's tough. You need First Order Stormtrooper for the new content, so I'd probably just go him first.
But you don't need his Zeta, right? You just need his gear right now, anyways.
You don't, but I mean he's higher along, so I mean you need what the Hux Zeta is good with that team. I know it sounds like you're trying to go for your First Order stuff, so if gear wasn't an issue, then I'd probably go Hux, Sith Trooper, and then First Order Stormtrooper. It's just if gear wasn't in the equation.
Yeah.
If just adding to that, if the ships do end up being part of the prerequisites for these legendary things, then slapping the Zeta onto Fast will boost its GP and just the general stats for the shuttle.
Yeah.
So you will get slightly more bang for your buck with that Zeta, and kind of the way it's intimated, First Order will actually be doing something at some point.
Yeah, I like the Zeta on First Order Stormtrooper. I've had it for a long time, and
it's great.
Yeah, and I know you're a big fan of First Order Stormtrooper, Loki, for a long time. So yeah,
he has the shiny Stormtrooper uniform going as well, doesn't he? Just put him alongside regular Stormtrooper, and he's like, "Oh, mate, yours is faded badly, isn't it?"
How did you fight in that? All right, next question.
Don't forget though, when you're talking about like double benefits, Sith Trooper also gets benefit with Sith, and can easily be the 5th on a Darth Vader team as well, right? So I like and I think Loki makes a good point. Like gear is important. Plus, I don't know how much Infinity Gaming has spent. Like if he has Hux to 7-star or not, right? Because there is a cost to it right now, anyways. But Sith Trooper to me has the best Zeta amongst the 3. Hux's I would have said was better before they changed it, but since they changed it, I would probably put it second behind Sith Trooper, and then Foss is actually the last one. Okay, next question. Jacob Ward, do you think Rey and Kylo will be PvP or PvE focused? Nesting dolls to create blitz mode and move arena crystals to PvE mode and make Galactic Legends best for that. We'll go around the corn and start with you, Mike. What do you think? Do you think Rey and Kylo will be PvP or PvE focused, or do you think it'll be some kind of split?
Personally, I think it'll be a split. The PvE, I think, is self-explanatory. I mean, they're the journeys, and therefore you'll need them for that. In regards to the PvP, it's going to be more. It won't. I can't see it being arena unless they really shake arena up. But where they really will stand out is in Yagak. I don't know about yourselves, but I'm using Rey to against First Order. I mean, that's kind of where they're aimed at each other, aren't they? In my on my alt account, I've got a Gear 12 crew, and the rest are kind of like 10 and lower, but they can hold because crew is that good. So that's kind of the PvP content side of things. It's another, you're adding an offense, depending on how you want to work it. I mean, I really wouldn't put JTR on defense, but crew is a great defensive squad to put up there, because again, it's it's maybe not quite as bad as Newt, but you don't underestimate it. You've got to hit it with something hard. As Ranger says, it's still holding.
Yeah.
And of course,
Yeah, it's
now
a team
you're
you
going
put
to
in
be
the back.
facing
Yeah,
more higher relics.
you put it in the back line because you if you see how I set my defense for GAC, my crew will get defenses because people will burn through all their stuff. They try to take something on with crew, and then he's like, you know, and it's well modded, and you know, between all they've got all their Zetas and stuff, and it works, you know, and I'm always laughing because I'm like, oh, another 3 victories for crew, you know, so.
I might or I might not have placed my first order in defense in GAC this round.
I did.
It depends whether my opponent's listening or not.
Oh.
If he is, I didn't.
Oh,
It's not hiding.
Subtle. No one's onto you. Okay. All right. Next question is from Kane, and he said, "Is it me or does Night Sister Spirit seem to miss a lot on her special?"
What gear is your Night Sister Spirit? That's the thing I want to first ask, right?
Like miss the stun, or
Yeah, miss.
I'm
Straight up
assuming
it
that's what you're
says-
talking about, missing the
or straight
stun.
up it says miss.
Right, evaded. You know.
Yeah, so Kane, if you're there, what do you mean by missing? Is it not getting a stun, or are they getting evaded? Yeah, that is a pretty good question.
There's a
to
distinction
ask.
we need to know. Gear level of your spirit, because mine's 12, and she don't miss that much. You know, she will sometimes in Dark Side GOTB phase 3 and 4. I'm like, oh, come on, you know, but she'll hit, but she won't stun. But that's because they have such high tenacity and level that it's like, no, I had to try. You know, I just use it for the debuff for the tank. It's just save it for that. But if you're just talking regular GAC,
You said gear
stuff,
12.
Yeah, I mean, other than Dark Side GOTB, you know, where especially in phase 3 and 4, you're going to get that kind of stuff happening in Dark Side GOTB. But like in GAC and other matches, I don't ever really have that problem. I don't have that problem in Sith Raid or anything like that. So I guess it's you know, the context of who you're attacking with, you know, and stuff like that. But yeah, typically I don't usually, when she does her big hit, she does her big hit.
Good, Mike.
Yeah.
Was Mike going to say something? I thought you.
Michael?
Oh no, yeah. All I was going to say in the Dark Side TB, what I found is, yeah, you have to wait until you get a guaranteed debuff on the clones and Jedis. Once you've got a debuff on there, then you'll find that your spirit will hit. It's just their tenacity levels are too high. You kind of need the tenacity down or something on there.
Yeah.
It's just because they are ridiculous.
Yeah, I hate
ridiculously high.
4. Especially the 4th wave, because usually I get to the 4th wave with my Night Sisters,
You see,
and it's like, woo!
Phase 4, I don't know how many people do this, but what I found to be more successful in, you know, getting through the phases or waves or whatever is actually to swap out Spirit for Talia, because what tends to kill you in phase 4 is the fact that you've got everyone exposed with a load of debuffs, and if you can get Talia to do her cleanse, that really does, because I mean, you know, if you're running a Towsing lead as well, she does a cleanse and she'll actually, you know, put plague on somebody as well.
Yeah.
So that's something that I have found, is that Talia could be far more resilient for just the, you know, 3 and 4 if you're struggling with your spirit.
Yeah.
Plus she's another healer.
And if you're not landing debuffs, and the other way, the only thing I can think of is more potency on her. Is maybe something to look at and look at your potency stats.
Yeah, potency cross.
Yeah.
Potency cross.
But be careful about that for purposes of Dark Side GOTB and stuff, right? Because Dark Side GOTB, the reason that your potency and stuff, while it's helpful, is not hitting is because of the level cap. It's the level difference between your character and who you're facing, which modifies the way that the formula works out. So regardless of you increasing your potency, you're not going to have a good chance of hitting it. So if it's for GAC or something like that, where you're not hitting, and you're not hitting the stun in particular, you then potency will come into play. Similarly, if you can get an accuracy arrow with a good speed secondary, that works well as that works also, because that's what I do with with who we now term Stick Ray.
Stick Ray.
Stick Ray, to me, has the biggest chance of having her attacks evaded. I don't know what it is, but Stick Ray is not able to land either of her specials consistently. And I see like the evades and stuff all the time with Stick Ray.
Yeah.
So what I've done with her, and I've seen a much better improvement on her special, regardless of which game mode, by the way, in every single game mode, whether it's like in the raid or whether it's GAC, I have now an accuracy arrow on my Stick Ray to make it so that she doesn't miss as much. And the accuracy arrow does go a long way. So when you can, I would suggest looking at an accuracy arrow for any character that you see is missing straight up. Now, again, if it's resisting, it's a little bit different, right? If it's a resisting thing, then completely different set of circumstances, different way that you want to go about it. But otherwise, I would recommend a accuracy arrow, and you will notice the difference between the misses and stuff. Okay. Next question. By the way, if you guys still have questions, the bot is saying that we stopped collecting questions. And for the most part, we did, but we do have time for a couple more. So if you guys do have questions, go ahead and put them in the chat. We can get in a couple more.
Yeah.
So feel free. And let me go ahead and do our last kind of regular question right now, unless any more come in. From Darth Raki. Question is, I am running Padme in Arena, but I am farming Old Republic with intentions of going all in on them so I can get Malak. When I get them, do I keep Padme or change to Darth, Revan, and Malak?
Not initially, because it's a lot of Zetas and gear, so unless you have that hoarded up, you're not going to be able just to do switch like that.
And get one.
Yeah, because you have to get him. I mean, you can use Darth Malak at 5 stars, a lot of protection if you're running Sith Trooper, right?
But compared to like a Padme team that's like maxed out, it's probably not gonna match up very well.
You need, the Zetas for Malak. You need the Zetas for Revan. You need the Zetas for Basti. I mean, it's a team heavily dependent on Zetas and gear. You need the characters. I mean, Revan, you can take the Relic one, great. But Malak, you need to get into the Relic range, and then the same thing for Basti. So it's a team that's highly gear dependent as well. You need those, especially for 12 to 13. You need those extra speed, especially versus other Darth Revan teams. So no, keep running Padme until you've got the team fully ready to go, right? And keep slicing speed mod sets, because you're gonna need a lot of speed mod sets. 2 of those characters need it, right? Malak not so much, but definitely on your Darth Revan and your Basti, you need speed so they can go first and get off what they're doing with the corrupted battle mutation and other stuff. But no. Don't just if you unlock it, then that's just like that's just the beginning of the horrible journey you're about to go on. So, but yeah, it's the right call. If you've got Padme squared away and stuff like that, then yeah, if you're going for Old Republic to get Darth Malak, perfect way to go. Okay,
and I'm checking, and I think we're down to fun questions here, so we can go ahead and jump into those. The first question, what else 73? If Finn is a satyr, why isn't his beard more magnificent as any proper satyr would have? Because I trim it. Again, I'm not showing my lower half of my body for a reason, right? I don't want you guys to get any confirmation that I may or may not be a satyr. And similarly, I trim.
Yeah.
And ignore the Paul Bunyan Finn that you saw a couple weeks ago. That didn't happen.
Yes, it did. We have video footage.
No, it didn't happen. You guys never saw that.
Go back a month. Yeah, we've got images. You can make images and screenshots and memes of Paul Bunyan Finn.
And it didn't happen. Next question. Wolfell. Question, is Finn going on a bender of hookers and blow after he Relic 7's Rose or any other things to ease the pain?
I'm just going to drink some soup.
So... the nice thing about it is I am going to actually play Human Fall Flat. So I just realized Human Fall Flat is at 8. So the stream is going to have to be at 7. Yeah, so 7 will be the lightsaber thing. So, but not light. Yeah, lightsaber and Relic 7ing Rose. So yeah, so I'm going to do I don't know what I'm going to do. It's just human fall flat with Durgan. So Santa Durgan is going to chase me around in order to ease my pain of Relic 7ing Rose. Durgan, I know that puts a lot of pressure on you. I know he's in the chat. I hope you can help me. I'm going to need a lot of comfort today.
I'm sure Santa Durgan will give a lot of comfort.
Santa Durgan's going to need to help me.
He's the buddy system.
Help me get through it all.
Come here, Finn. Let me help you with your tears.
All right. Let's get to our next question here. Next fun question is Bad Rongo. How much longer do I have to wait before my RSG icon gets to gear 12? Let me see where you are, Bad Rongo.
August.
We have the
August. Loki's right on it.
I think Loki's guessing.
We got it right on the plan, right here. It's on our event calendar.
What the hell, Loki? Are you just giving away?
Making shit up.
Oh my god, Loki. I believe the gold one happens at 2 years based on the YouTube settings.
So we have no control over that.
Yeah. Yeah. See, Slash Rhodes has it. It's Gear 12 is at 2 years. Man, Slash Rhodes has been a YouTube sponsor for 2 years.
I know. It's amazing.
Mm-hmm. All right. But yeah, so that's when it is. And Durgan, don't worry. I'll snuggle with you tonight. Yay. Tonight's going to be crazy. All right. Next question. Dusthan 1972. Since Finity has to Relic 7 his Rose, how ironic would it be if she's needed at Relic 5 for the Galactic Legend event? Would Finn come out smelling like a rose? So we have this discussion. I don't think that Rose is going to be needed for the new Rey. Now, it's possible that they just include all of the Resistance, right? But she played like no role in Episode 9, especially related to Rey.
Mm-mm.
She had a role associated with Finn and Poe, but her role in the movie was almost nothing as it related to Rey. Would it surprise me if she was included? No. But if I had to guess, my guess is no. I don't think Rose is going to be needed. Because even in Episode 8, she really wasn't that involved with Rey. It was, again, Finn and Poe, which is the same reason why I question Holdo potentially being needed. However, the Raditz being needed may make Holdo needed for that purpose. But I don't think we got your opinion on it, Mike. Mike, what did you...
Viagra Brothers will be needed. Viagra Brothers.
Do you think they'll be needed again?
Yeah. I mean, they feature all the way through, don't they? Rey's journey movie-wise, both of them. I'm trying not to spoil stuff for anyone that hasn't seen it.
No,
but
sorry.
but yeah, I reckon that.
Wow,
I'm sure I saw something somewhere about. Was it Arnold speculating, or I can't remember, but I think that'll come in. I mean, we had to gear them so high to unlock.
Yeah,
Rey, wasn't it? Yeah, second Rey.
Yep.
Like second breakfast.
It would be in keeping, wouldn't it, to unlock the third Rey?
Well, they've never really needed a. I guess we've never really had. I guess I can't say that because you needed it for Malik. It wasn't a straight progression, right? That you use the same characters you needed for the first one in order to get the second one. I suppose they did that with Malik in the 2 parts with the light side, dark side. Yeah, you know, come to think of it, that wouldn't be all that surprising now that you mention it. But I was trying to think like progression things, right? Like you didn't need the Viagra Brothers for BB-8. Or anything you needed for BB-8 wasn't needed for Rey. Anything you needed for R2 wasn't needed for CLS, right? It was mainly because it was opposite faction. But now we're seeing same side faction stuff being needed for some of these. Huh? That's an interesting one, Mike.
We just got a $50 donation to our Tiltify campaign from Mostef Isley, and he said, "Thanks for another great Jedi Academy stream." Well, thank you for the $50 for ACS campaign.
Oh, and most stuff actually didn't apply it to anything. Most stuff, message me if you want it applied to something. Like if you want it applied to a challenge, I can just bring down the total for your donation since it didn't add to it.
Sure.
So, just let me know. Because you didn't donate to the challenge or anything. We could have gotten the Eternal Twins, or could have donated from McVenom to pick stuff for Fourth Hokage, who's always trolling her in chat. There's all kinds of things. So if you wanted to apply to something, just message me in Discord and we'll get you.
There you go.
But thank you.
That's nice.
Thank you very much for the donation. And we'll talk about that here towards the end of the stream. We got just a few more fun questions here before we jump into that. Nev asks, "What's a Super Bowl? Is it like a big bowl of something?"
Listen here, you limey butthole. Don't you become talking trash about our sports events. Damn it!
It's a big bowl of ramen.
Yeah, and you stick your hands in it. So go do that. After you heat it up.
It's Heinz cream of tomato, giant size.
If I'm going to be supportive of your brand of football, because I do like the Premier League, I'll be talking trash about our football.
No,
our football barely uses feet.
Good.
I mean, it does. Like our football barely uses.
There's a position just for the kicker.
Yeah,
I know, and we don't even let them on the field with like the regular players.
Well,
it makes like millions of dollars.
Which team does Waterboy play for?
Does what?
Waterboy play for?
No,
he's brilliant.
Yeah, that's a movie, and then second of all, that was college, so different thing.
Nobunaga question. He said we play hand egg, not football.
Oh, well, there you go.
I like that.
Otherwise known as rugby.
It is actually. It's a modification on rugby.
Yeah.
More than it is football.
Yeah, I've enjoyed watching some videos of rugby players watching to hits in the NFL, going, "Oh my God, is that legal?"
It's an aggressive sport.
Wearing body armor it doesn't make it safer; it makes it more dangerous. You see people just convulsing on the ground from the hits, just sitting there going, it's like, oh God.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. So, let's see. Lucas, he just put it in the question. I'm just going to jump to that one because I had the other ones queued up here. But Lucas just said, question, Ranger, will the Cowboys ever stop breaking my heart?
No, probably not. Let's just get used to it. So, I mean, I'm hopeful for next season now that we get rid of dumbass. But we'll see what happens. I mean, they've got the talent. They just can't seem to put it together. And it just, I mean, too many good players on that team for that team to be as mediocre as it is. So, but just like any fan, Finn loves the Dolphins and the Steelers. You have your up years and you win Super Bowls, and then you go through long stretches where they're poop. I mean, they just are. I mean, my Titans had a really good run this year. I was hoping they would beat Kansas City, but Kansas City's just too nasty. So. You have your ups and downs. It just, yeah.
All right, next question.
You stick with your team, though, right? You have to stick with them.
Mm-hmm. Even though if they falsely claim to be America's team. Okay, next question is Bale Rit Papi Chulo says, when is Ouchie going to Relic 7 her Dooku? Next year with a massive challenge. That's what she said. It's going to be... Yeah, there might be a massive challenge associated with her doing that if people want to see her do that. Darsai 1972 question, whose smoke detector is beeping on the stream?
I think that was Warrior. Yeah.
It might have been Warrior. Yeah. I didn't hear it. I honestly didn't hear it. Did somebody else hear it? I didn't realize there was.
I heard a little
chirping. Maybe it's your smoke detector.
It's not mine. There's no more chirping. It hasn't been going on since Warrior left.
But there was chirping while Warrior was here? Because I didn't even hear it while Warrior was here.
Well, that's because you weren't paying attention.
Okay, apparently not. I'm going to say it's your smoke detector. Check your smoke detector, Josh Sion.
It was Warriors.
Han Cholo, question, when is the Rose Tico Relic 7 stream happening? Okay, so it will happen at 7 p.m. Eastern Time on YouTube. I will set up the event right after this, and I will send an email to everyone that has bought themselves raffle tickets. And we will give it away. The lightsaber at that time. We will Relic 7 the Rose Tico. We will also draw the winner of the Urs drawing.
That's right.
We'll do all of that at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And then at 8 p.m. we'll switch over to Twitch and do Human Fall Flat. There you go. And then last question from the Escape Podcast. how many Cowboys fans does it take to change a light bulb?
Yeah, I saw all that, and then he.
Answer: none. They talk about how good the light bulb used to be 24 years ago.
But you know, the Skate podcast is he's a Cleveland. I mean, that's Paul. Or I don't know who that is. He says he loves the Cleveland Browns, which that's tough too because, you know, but you know you have your think about all those Cubs fan and Red Sox fan that went for all those years before they won a championship, and then they finally did it. So it just builds up to that.
Well, Cleveland got that, but in the way of the Cavs, like they were just starved in general.
Yeah, they had been starved. You know,
the Cavs won that they got lucky because of injuries and everything.
Very close. Yeah, the Indians have been really good and have some really good teams that got to the World Series that just couldn't do it. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Cleveland Cavaliers win over the Golden State Warriors was pretty epic. So, but yeah, the Browns have. They've got good players too. I mean, if they can put it together, look out for the Browns, man. I mean, they had an okay season last year, so we'll see what happens.
Okay. We have one last question that came in. You didn't put question. Remember James Glass to put in question next time, but since we're wrapping up the stream, I'll just toss it in here. What is the best capital ship for Galactic Republic if you don't have Negotiator? Endurance.
Pretty much.
Endurance used to be a meta team with the Galactic Republic before the Millennium Falcon was introduced. So Endurance with Galactic Republic is still a really good number 2 defense team type of thing to put in GAC, Territory Wars, if you don't have Negotiator.
That's science.
Just it's a target lock team though, isn't it? You need something that's laying down loads of target locks to get it to really, really work.
Yep. Yeah, I still like the Endurance Galactic Republic, but it's just you don't use it above Negotiators. Okay, and that is it. Let's go ahead and let all of you pimp stuff. So, Mike, what are you doing on your channel?
I've just uploaded the new challenges for Forest Moon. So I uploaded the tier 2 when I was a bit late in doing it and getting it uploaded. I'm also actually going to throw up a few Call of Duty Mobile because I've been playing that for quite a while and I'm a big Call of Duty fan. So it's surprisingly good. It's something I don't promote on my channel because I'm Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes and I wanted to stay that. I didn't want anyone to think I was moving away or anything. But yeah, I'm going to throw a few of those up because I've had some fun there. And yeah, I'm working on the new legendaries, so there will be some vids going up on those as well. And thank you for having me.
All
right. And yeah, Ranger, you want to do the RSG stuff?
No.
Loki gets to do it then.
Loki, pimp us.
I have no idea what the hell we're doing. What are we doing nowadays?
Oh my god.
We got marbles on Monday and marbles on Tuesday and marbles on Tuesday.
No, there's no marbles on Tuesday.
Oh. You do a lot of stuff, man. I can't keep up anymore, but we do have a lot of content. It's good stuff.
Thank you for that glowing endorsement there, Loki. You're a great crew member. Didn't even watch the damn channel.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. Loki, what do you do for the channel? I just show up, whatever.
That's better than my that's better than my pimping of how to get roster reviews.
Yeah.
Loki wins.
It's like I don't know. They do stuff.
What don't we do, man?
We do
too much stuff.
All right, so
we have like Thursday morning off. That's about it. And then lunchtime kicks up again, right? So, I mean,
we've got the lunch streams we do during the week. We have the Wednesday night show. We've got this show, Jedi Academy. We do other games. We have marbles. We do tonight. We'll play Human Fall Flat. Tonight we do stuff like that tomorrow. There's no D&D stream tomorrow, being Sunday because of the Super Bowl. No point. We'll be back next week with that to continue the D&D game. And people are really enjoying the Star Wars D&D game. So 5th edition. So if you'd like to check that out, please check that out. But tomorrow's the Super Bowl, so there's really no point. So the only thing I will do tomorrow, it's GAC. I always show my GAC, so I'll do that in the afternoon early so everybody can get ready for the Super Bowl. So we'll go through and continue our quest for Kyber. It's all about Kyber. Kyber's life. You can't win a Super Bowl unless you're Kyber. So, yeah, so check out all these other wonderful channels, guys. Give us a thumbs up on ours right now. Stop what you're doing. Give us a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed already, hit that subscribe button. We put out a lot of great stuff on Star Wars Galaxy Heroes. We stream live more than anybody, always answering questions, always helping. And if you'd like to come join our Discord so you can, join this great group of community people we have, you are always welcome. So join the Discord. The links are all down below. You can message me and Finn directly. I wouldn't try Loki because apparently Loki will answer whenever he wants. So, but if you have questions about the game, you can hit us up. A private message is fine. We answer those all the time as well. So, yeah. So, support all these great content creators. Support us. And with that, we're going to call this one done. So, on behalf of myself and the crew, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining us. Thanks to the panelists for being a part of the council to answer your questions. So with that, we're going to call this one done. Have a great rest of your day. Enjoy Super Bowl weekend here in the U.S. And we will holler at you guys later. Peace out.